what is happening, guys? This is himalnaruto coming at you with another video. So today I got a video talking about Hajime Tabata himself, and Hajime Tabata being one of the men who make my favorite video games of all time. Three of them, my three favorite games being from my favorite to the least favorite, which is still good. Final Fantasy Type 0, Final Fantasy 7 Crisis Core, and Final Fantasy 15. Yes, Hajime Tabata, this man who puts a peace sign in front of war times. Yes, this man. I seriously love Hajime Tabata. Man, this guy's pretty cool. Hajime Tabata has been through another interview. Yes, Final Fantasy 15 director explains the reason behind his departure and why DLCs were cancelled. I read this article, very interesting stuff right here, and even CyberConnect 2 is here, Final Fantasy 7 remake flashbacks, but here we go, right here. So it starts off with ex-Final Fantasy developer Hajime Tabata took out time to talk about Square Enix, Final Fantasy 15, and his new venture, JP Games Inc. In a sit-down segment, hosted by Nico. The segment featured some great Japanese gaming industries, including the likes of Danganronpa. I'm sorry I'm butchering that name. Rather, Kazataka Kodaka from 2Q Games. Then there's also Dragon Quest 11 and Nier Automata producer Saito Yasuka, CyberConnect 2 president Hiroshi Matsuyama, and of course JP Inc.'s president Hajime Tabata. Tabata on Square Enix, Final Fantasy 15, and his exit from the company. When Tabata decided to leave Square Enix, there was a discussion on who would take over Final Fantasy 15's project and develop. In the end, it was decided the future Final Fantasy 15 DLCs would be cancelled. Tabata stated that he's personally very disappointed that the DLCs were cancelled and that he's sorry to the fans. I mean, of course, looking forward to that. I mean, of course, look at this man. He was ready for the DLCs, especially the Luna DLC. Shirts don't lie, people. Shirts don't lie. And then we continue on. CyberConnect 2 president Hiroshi Matsuyama, who was sitting aside Tabata in this segment, mentioned that as a Final Fantasy fan, he wanted Tabata to finish the development on the future content release before quitting the company. Tabata answered that although he couldn't take the project to end, he thought that the work the team did was good. Now this is what I mean for Hajime Tabata. I mean, he left Square Enix because he doesn't want, it's not that he didn't want to work for Square. It's the fact that Square gave him a lot of side projects that he didn't want to do. His main project he wanted to focus on was Type 0, and Final Fantasy 15 was originally Versus 13 when it was Tetsuya Nomura's project. Then Nomura handpicked Hajime Tabata to do this, and that's why, you know, Final Fantasy Tabata actually entrusted it with the team because he thought they could do it good. Then it says right here, Tabata mentioned that he decided to quit Square Enix because he just wasn't motivated in what he was doing anyone. He didn't want to prove troublesome or hold back the development team. Tabata again apologized that he was sorry that he couldn't complete the promised Final Fantasy 15 DLC, but assured fans that his quitting the company was not related to Final Fantasy 15 or its DLC. He confirmed that him and Square ended their relationship on good terms. Tabata on JP Games Inc. and their future projects. The hiring process for the company is going well, with them having managed to hire several staff already. Tabata mentioned headcount will continue to increase, but they'll continue with a small group in the future. JP Inc. is self-funded and has not received any outside investment. Tabata has thought about making a AAA game independently for other game companies. So this is basically an indie company he has started. I will talk more about this later, but right here he says Tabata on JP Games. He does talk about the AAA games. But the final thing he actually said right here before continuing this article, he says he has ideas for some games, but he couldn't reveal them yet. As far as platforms are concerned, Tabata wants his games to be multi-platform for consoles, PC, as well as smartphones. Now, of course, Hajime Tabata is very well known for handheld games. Final Fantasy Type 0, when it first released, it was on the PSP, and also with games such as Final Fantasy Crisis Core, PSP, Final Fantasy 15, big console game, and I'm sure he's getting used to that. A lot of smartphone games, Final Fantasy smartphone games have been blowing up. Of course, Katy Perry is part of Brave Exvius, God. But yeah, I mean, all of this is all good and said. But right here, we can see that Tabata mentioned struggles with AAA games development, like his experience with Final Fantasy 15. He mentioned creating satellite studios in regions like Vietnam and Malaysia due to manpower shortage in busy seasons. Tabata explained this struggle to scale up these studios due to high investments and security concerns for high-end PCs to use for development. He then changed the process to be cloud-based, which streamlined the development. Tabata mentioned that he wants to involve making games similar to this example. This is very good, and this could also be one of the reasons why, you know, Final Fantasy 15 was delayed a little bit from that September release. But that's fine, and if he's gonna do this, then games are gonna be coming out good. Right here, he mentions that although he wanted to create large-scale games, he will probably not hire a lot of developers in a single place. He wants to look into cloud-based development or something similar. From what I have seen in this interview, I learned that Hajime Tabata is ready for the next step for JP Games. I'm ready, I'm excited. It's going to launch in January next month actually, so can't wait. But he did say that it is independent and it is not outsourced, and no company has funded them. So this is where I actually think that, you know, PlayStation, Sony Interactive could have, you know, provided some funds towards them and made AAA games, so then it could be PlayStation exclusive, or even Nintendo could have done that, or even Microsoft, especially since not especially Microsoft, but I say especially outside help, because with the outside help, it's going to help a lot with Hajime Tabata's game stuff. And he did say he wanted to make stuff similar to that of Final Fantasy 15, but however, since he does not have the same funding, that will be a lot harder. And I know for a fact that Final Fantasy 15, being one of my favorite games of the PlayStation 4 era, it is amazing to think that he's going to make a game possibly greater than this. I'm not saying it's going to be greater than this, but there's always that possibility of the continuation of another project, and that of course being Final Fantasy Type 0. This was Hajime Tabata's baby. He came up with all this, and I know it has the Final Fantasy name under it, but if Hajime Tabata can somehow find a way to make this game again under his development, and of course he can't use the same names and everything, because it's all Final Fantasy titled, all Square Enix titles, so he cannot do that. But I do hope that he can try and find a way to actually bring this game back to life. It will be hard, but possibly I want this game a sequel, or if he can remake it with an entire new cast, new name, everything, I'm fine with that, as long as Hajime Tabata follows his dreams. And of course, I want to say to you, Hajime Tabata, a beautiful man who always listens to the fans, I just simply have to say that you are the father of Final Fantasy 15. So thank you from the Final Fantasy Type 0 community, as well as the Final Fantasy 15 community, and also all the other projects such as Final Fantasy Crisis Core and your future projects I will be supporting. I know for a fact Hajime Tabata may not watch this video because he's already busy making games or preparing for his launch next month. But if somehow he does, I will love that so much, and I would appreciate it if you guys, yes, you viewers, could let me know what was your favorite Hajime Tabata game. What was the game that actually introduced you to knowing Hajime Tabata? And more importantly, what games are you excited for Hajime Tabata to make? And are you expecting him to do AAA games or indie games or an indie AAA game? We will see. But anyway guys, that is it for this video. Please leave a like, helps me out a lot. Comment down in the comment section down below what you guys think. Share with friends because sharing is caring. And most importantly, subscribe to become a fellow lightning bolt. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. And as always, this is Lineage 8. Blaze out.